Hey everyone, Charlie Morgan here. As you become more successful as an entrepreneur, your fundamental constraint will become time. And you're going to have to learn how to outsource things, hire for things, and basically start to operate your business properly as it grows beyond just you. Now, what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving you a hiring standard operating procedure, if you'd like, or a system for hiring that I have used to hire everyone in my company. It works incredibly well. It can be applied to basically any role. Now, what I'm not going to be doing in this video is giving you specific hiring instructions on sales reps or appointment setters or media buyers or video editors. All specific hiring instructions we have for job-specific roles can be found in EasyGrow, and the link to obviously apply for EasyGrow, as you're well aware at this point, can be found in the description of this video. But what I wanted to do was give you a nice detailed guide on how to make a hire so you can have a frame of reference and an understanding of how to do it when you come to do it. Now, so far throughout this program, obviously you've built your foundations, you've got your mindset in place, you've got your sales process in place, you've got appointments coming in now from the appointment setting module, and of course, you've now developed your expertise as well. And you should start to be signing clients. Okay, so you should be taking action on the appointment setting stuff, you should have your methodology running around some tests, you should be doing sales calls. So as we can see on the screen, we've got a couple of Navy SEALs here. They are A players, that's the top 1%. And we want to get the Navy SEALs of all the roles that we're looking to hire for. So let's hop into it. So there are 10 steps to making a hire. And I've built this process myself. You won't find it anywhere else. This is the internal process that we, and by we, I mean I and my executive team, uses at my company to hire people and find really qualified candidates, interview them, sort through them, select them, etc., etc. So step one is, first of all, when should you hire? Step two is how to write job descriptions. Step three is how to make videos for job descriptions specifically. Step four is how to create a qualification form to filter candidates. Step five is how to build a hiring funnel. Step six is how to interview, or it's not specifically, but how to create an interview event. Step seven is surface area and candidate traffic. Step 8 is interviewing. Step 9, more candidates, more contrast. And step 10 is actually making the hire and onboarding the new team member that you've just hired. So without further ado, let's have a look at this template. So welcome to Hiring Top 1% Talent. Here I'm going to walk you through my entire A to Z process for hiring. This will work for any role you want to delegate for, whether it's sales, setting, service delivery, all the way to executive suite roles like COO, sales management, CMO, media buying, etc. I've made more than 50 hires in my time, and I've used this process every single time, and it's never failed me. So I'm very excited to share it with you here. So step one is when to hire. So first of all, the question is, when do you make a hire, and how do you know when it's time to hire? Well, you hire where it hurts. You should only ever hire to solve a specific problem or a specific bottleneck in your company. Either something that is taking too much of your time, i.e. time that could be better spent elsewhere, or you're struggling to solve a problem that you can't solve alone. Never, ever just make a random hire because someone emailed you and created a job for themselves. So you might get an email from like a copywriter being like, hey, do you want to buy my copywriting services? And you might be like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Unless you specifically need a copywriter or it's on your mind to go and find one, then probably some random dude that sent you an email isn't going to be the one for the job. Your hiring must be intentional, strategic, either to alleviate pressure off your schedule or to solve a problem. That's it, nothing else. So you're like, people like this are like, oh, I've got this friend who's looking for a job and I really like them, so I'm just going to create a fucking job for them. It's like, what? That's not how you do business. It's like, oh, well, I found this person and like I don't need them anymore, so I'm just going to try and create a job from them. It's like, no, that's really stupid. It's got to be intentional and strategic to either alleviate pressure off your time or solve a problem. So you hire where it hurts. So you hire based on the problem that you're facing right now. And the only two things that hurt are not having enough time to do other things you need to do or having a problem you don't know how to solve. So for example, I didn't know how to manage a sales team, so I hired a sales manager. Another example, I had too many sales calls and couldn't take them, so I hired a sales rep. Now, when it comes to learning things here, specifically with hiring appointment setters and sales reps, you need to do it yourself first. So what I do not want to see anyone in this program doing is trying to hire sales reps before they've done at least a couple of thousand sales calls. You need to be doing sales yourself for a year or two, and you need to get really bloody good at it. Because what you cannot do is just go and hire like a sales rep to do your sales for you and hire an appointment setter to do your appointment setting for you without having done it yourself. Now, when it comes to more advanced roles, like building out, hiring a chief marketing officer, or hiring a chief operating officer, or hiring like an executive sales manager, that's when you can basically be like, okay, like I need to hire someone incredibly talented to take over for me and build a system. But specifically for running like sales calls or booking appointments, you need to learn to do it yourself first. I have never seen a single example of an entrepreneur that doesn't know how to sell or set appointments, hire a sales rep or an appointment setter and have it work out without them having done it first. I've done this for 4,000 people and I haven't seen a single example of that work. So when it comes to hiring, you hire two types of people. You either hire builders, so people who build things like systems, processes, and other parts of the business, or you hire executors. These are people who execute on the things that have been built by builders. In the example above, a sales manager is a builder and a sales rep is an executor. Other examples of the builder role might include COO, creative director, product manager. Other examples of an executor role might include video editor, virtual assistant, or appointment setter. So we've either got builders or we've got executors. Okay? And a builder is a very significant hire because this is someone that's going to build part of your business for you. And an executor is less significant but important because they're basically going to be executing on tasks created by the builders. So a builder could be a sales manager. They could build your entire sales system. And, you know, by the way, unless you can spend like 15 to 20K a month, you can't afford a sales manager right now. You need to learn it yourself, right? And then an executor could be the sales rep that executes on the process built by the manager. Before you make any hire to solve either a time pressure or a problem, you must ask, one, can this thing be eliminated and do I really need to hire for it? Or two, can this thing be automated? Can I use software or AI to do it instead? So hiring is your last resort. You don't really want to make hires. They're a nightmare. You want to have as few people in your company as humanly possible. And so when you're looking at a problem, or when you're looking at like, oh, I need to hire someone to do this, can you eliminate the thing? If not, can you automate it? And only once you've asked yourself, can I eliminate it? i.e., will the company be fine if I got rid of it? Like an example of this was when I started my YouTube channel for my business, and I thought I needed a video editor. But then I was like editing the videos myself, and I was like looking at like cuts and video edits and stuff, and I was like, do I really need a video editor? Like, can I just eliminate this whole video editing thing? And I realized like if I just recorded the videos in one take without making any mistakes, that I didn't need an editor. And so I just eliminated the idea of having it. Same thing at the beginning of my YouTube channel for thumbnails. I was like, I need a thumbnailer. And I was like, do I really need a thumbnail? Do I need them? And I was like, no. So I just eliminated it. Same thing with like my accounting. Like, you know, now we just basically do that on autopilot. It's like, do we really need to have like this whole team like managing all the books and stuff? It's like, no. We can just use the software. So only once 1 and 2 have been exhausted, then you delegate. So when it comes to looking at hiring, people think they need to hire, but really, first of all, can you eliminate this thing? Can you automate this thing? And only if you cannot eliminate and then automate do you delegate. So hiring is a last resort, and really we want to avoid hiring at all costs. Eliminate or automate. Or eliminate whatever you can, automate whatever you can't, eliminate and then delegate whatever you can automate. Sales calls, by the way, cannot be eliminated. They cannot be automated, but they can be delegated. But you don't need to do that yet. Never make a hire without a super clear idea of what the problem the person you're going to hire will solve. A lot of companies hire people because they think they have to, or they think it's the done thing. This is how a lot of companies die. They get over bloated and have way too many people doing absolutely nothing. Do you remember when Elon Musk bought Twitter and fired 80% of the workforce? That's a perfect example of hiring without a problem and not eliminating and not delegating. 80% of the things you think you need to hire for can either be eliminated or automated and should be first. Only hire where it hurts and only hire when you can eliminate the thing or automate it. So now that you understand that, let's talk about job descriptions. So really the first step is deciding like, what the hell am I hiring for? and like, what do I want this person to do? And, deciding if it can be eliminated or automated. But the real first step is writing a job description. So once you've established the problem that must be hired for, i.e. can't be eliminated or automated, it's time to write a job description to get really clear on what this person will do and how they will integrate into the company. And this should be written out in a Google Doc. So here's the structure of a job description. 1, brief role description. So job title and compensation. Pretty simple. This needs to sell a bit. It needs to sound shiny and exciting. It should explain the goal for the role, so what you're trying to achieve by hiring the role. It should give you 3 things you really want. It should give 3 things you really want in the hire, so 3 non-negotiables. And it should be talking about your company, what you do, and what you sell. 2, responsibility, so the actions they have to take and the responsibilities they will be held accountable for in the business. 3 is location, so is it going to be remote or in an office? 4 is results, so what do you expect to achieve from this hire? What outcomes do you want from this person? And really, ultimately, what's the goal here? What are you trying to get out of this person? 5, non-negotiable requirements. So tangible requirements for this role, like achievements and past history, and intangible requirements for this role, like traits and characteristics. 6, compensation structure, so salary or commission or incentives. Again, like for specific hiring roles that you might need in the future, Easy Grow will cover all of them, but for now we're just going over this at broad strokes. So 7, availability, so full-time or part-time, how many hours a week. And then communication, like what are the expectations for communication? Do they have to be available to communicate all the time, meetings, etc.? So I thought what I'd do is give you an example of a builder job post. So this was for a creative director hire that we made a while ago. We got hundreds of qualified applications using this job post with this exact framework. You're not going to need to hire a creative director, by the way. This is something that you do when you get to like 8 figures, all right? So I don't want anyone sub $1 million a month looking for one of these, because honestly, like, you just don't need one for a long time, okay? And also it's going to cost you like 200 grand a year. So yeah. So creative director job post. So you can see here, job role, compensation, and the 3 things, a little bit about the company here, responsibilities, what we're trying to get out of it, location, results, requirements. So again, these are like non-negotiables. So like 3 years of experience, like have you actually done this before, compensation, availability, and then obviously application link here. And then this is like a short form thing that I would post on social media and stuff. So then you need to make a video for the job description. So you take the Google Doc you've made and record a quick 5 to 15 minute video explaining the role and selling it as hard as you can. So in the video, at the end of the video, you can say, this is really cool, by the way, and I do this a lot. Not for every role, but what you can do at the end of the video is say, oh, and so that I know that you've watched this video in full, please put the number 123 at the end of your name at the start of the application. So when you say this in the video, it will show you who has watched the video in the hiring process, i.e. who actually cares and who doesn't. This is huge because it allows you to filter through candidates off the rip. So here's an example for a creative director hire that we made a while ago. And you can watch this quick 10-minute video of me sort of walking through this role, just giving some context and explaining it, and ultimately kind of selling it a little bit, if that makes sense. So yeah, you can check that out. So step 4 is to make a Google qualification form. So head over to forms.google.com and create a new form. So you name the form after the role you're hiring for, link the job description in the description of the form, add fields for name, email, and phone, add a CV upload section so people can upload their CV or resume, make a multiple choice tick box so you can find out where they found the application from, and then list 3 critical questions that are crucial that they need to get right to be considered. So what you want to do here is like list these, there should be like 2 or 3 things that are just non-negotiable, like absolutely crucial. Like for example, if I was hiring a sales rep, I'm like, look, if you haven't sold at least like X million dollars, then we're not interested. Now you won't have that luxury when you come to hire your first rep, because I can hire the top talent because I can afford to pay top talent and top fees, right? You won't be able to do that yet, but that's fine. So you can have slightly less expectations. List out any other questions you want to ask and then bunch them together as bullet points and request the candidate. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's go back down there. Sorry, you just saw my Google Doc template there. Where are we? So list out any other questions you want to ask, then bunch them together as bullet points and request the candidate to make a video and upload a shared link that is viewable to you. This is crucial. You need to say, like, in the thing, like if you upload a Google Drive file, please make sure that I can access it, because a lot of people make Google Drive files and then you can't watch them and it's fucking annoying. So this is way better than text answers, because what we're trying to do here is we're going to get hundreds of applicants for the role. At least we should if we do this right. And when you come to organize through all of these people in the spreadsheet, you can start by looking at their answers to the 3 critical questions to see how much detail are in the critical questions and if they qualify. And then if they qualify, it's better just to watch a quick video on the rest of the questions. Because what a video allows you to do is it allows you to understand someone's communication skills, how concise they are, how good they are at thinking, etc., etc. And also, it's just a way better way to get a culture check, like a vibe check. So you shouldn't ask too many questions here. We're just trying to get 2 to 3 big questions out of the way and then ask a bunch of other little questions to get a vibe check. So link the Google form to a Google Sheet, and you can do this, by the way, in the Google form settings. So answers should go through to a Google Sheet, and make sure that it's viewable and people can fill it out and everything. And bookmark this sheet or save it somewhere so you can see the candidate answers when they start applying and rolling in. And if you want to see some examples of real-time hiring forms that I've used in Creative, you can check these ones out here. So this is the creative director one that I referred to earlier. So, you know, like, these were the big 3 questions that we wanted to sort of ask. So what direction would you like to take the content in? How do you lead a team of creatives? And link to any of your previous work, previous channels, so we can just assess. Like, we have people applying who have like worked for like Mr. Beast and stuff. So you just immediately kind of filter through the crap. And then also share a link to a 1-minute video as to why you believe you'd be the perfect fit. And then what you can do, this is actually really, I forgot to put this in. Let me put this in here because this is crucial. This is really important. Because what you can do here is next to the video, what you do is you put not required. So share a link to a 1-minute video as to why you believe you're the perfect, not required. And anyone with a brain will recognize what you're trying to do here. But what a lot of people will do is they'll just put in the answer box like, oh, it says video not required, looking forward to hearing back from you. And that's the kind of person you do not want to hire. You do not want to touch a person like that with a barge pole. The reason is because, like, they can't be fucked. Like, they're just like, oh, it's just not required, so I'm just not going to do it. And that's an example of someone that you do not want to hire because they're lazy and, quite honestly, just stupid. Like, so yeah, like if I'm filtering through like these forms, the first thing I'm looking for is, did they actually record a video or not? And if they didn't, then done. It's over. So this is for the sales rep application form. You can see here. We actually asked, we don't put the not required thing here because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. And then appointment setup form, another example here as well. Okay, so you can do the not required thing if you want to. I like doing it for builder-based, skill-based roles. Like the thing with the sales rep thing is I need to understand the ability to communicate. So anyway, you can use your judgment there, but you kind of get the point. So that's the Google qualification form. So then what we need to do is build out a hiring funnel. So really, like, what you can do if you want is write out your job description and put it into the form, the Google form, but I prefer to use a funnel. So what you need to do is head over and create an account on this website here. This is an affiliate link, by the way, so it'll be helpful. You should have already done this when we walked through the funnel configurations in week 5 and also the website setup in week 1. So you should have a ClickFunnels account. So just go ahead if you don't and just use this here. And then what you want to do is install the following template into your ClickFunnels account. So you can find this template here, and this is basically the hiring funnel. And you know, to show you what this hiring funnel looks like without opening up my ClickFunnels, because there might be something in there that is private to the company. If I just show you this YouTube video here, no, I'm actually an idiot. It won't be on the YouTube video, will it? Let me see what happens if I open this up here. Should take me through to my funnels. Yeah, here we go. Okay, this is fine. So let's go to here. I'll just show you an example. Okay. And so this is what the hiring funnel looks like. Really straightforward. you can add it directly to your ClickFunnels just by clicking here. Okay, which is why I'm telling you to use ClickFunnels, because it's what I use. And then all it is basically just like explaining the job, links to video, so kind of people can watch the video, application, and then the job description, and then the option to apply now. And this will obviously take them through to the Google form that they can fill out. Okay, and then this Google form is linked to a spreadsheet that takes all the candidates. Now, obviously, don't fill this form out because I'm not taking applications anymore, but you get the point, right? So so add this to your funnel, then edit the page. So change company details and email, change the video, change the job description and title, and change the Google form link. Because the last thing I want is for you guys to forget to change the link and for me to be getting lots of applicants for your roles. I might steal them. No, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, add a domain to the page of your choosing. So you can find instructions on how to add a domain to ClickFunnels simply here, or you can refer back to the instructions in week 1 where I told you how to set the website up in ClickFunnels. Then create an interview event. So head over to your scheduling software. I'd recommend you use cow.com. This is again a referral link, so you can just use cow.com. Create a 30-minute event with just name, phone, and email, and name the event interview with your name, and obviously link it to your calendar. And so what we're going to do is basically send this hiring funnel to people. They're going to apply, and then we're going to look at their applications, and the people that look good, we're going to send them a scheduling link, like a 30-minute Calendly or cal.com event. And then that way they can just book in and talk to you, okay? So service area and candidate traffic. So at this point, you have the hiring funnel set up. You've got a clear job description with responsibilities, non-negotiable requirements, and compensation structure. You've also got a form to collect candidate information, a funnel to take applications, and an interview event to send to successful candidates. Now you need to get as many qualified eyeballs on the funnel as possible. And basically, you want to think about this as like in physics and maths, we have this idea called surface area. And you want to have a large surface area, the largest surface area as humanly possible, which means that this funnel is exposed to as many people in your niche and in your space as possible. So you're exposing the funnel link to as many people in your space as you possibly can. So here's what you have at your disposal. You can use job sites like Indeed or LinkedIn Jobs. I personally have never used any of these to hire people. I find them to be insufferable and the candidates are awful, but you can use them if you think it's appropriate. You have your social media handles, your network or friends in the space, free online communities relevant to the job, so school groups, Facebook groups, etc. Paid online communities relevant to the job, school groups, Facebook groups, etc. Recruiters for this role specifically, and Discord, Reddit. Honestly, like most of my hires I've ever made have come from just DMing people. That's pretty much always been the case. Like, you know, what you can do is you can DM people who you think would be a fit and say, hey, like we're looking to hire for this role. Like, do you know anyone? And then half the time they'll apply themselves if the conversation's good enough. That's a pretty cool way to get hires. But honestly, like when I'm trying to I was like looking for someone to help with like the certain things with the academy, like some back end stuff that you don't need to concern yourself with. And I just DM'd like, I think maybe like the top 30 people on like school experts. And then they all got back to me, and then I got like a bunch of candidates, and then we made the hire. It's really easy. Discord, Reddit, etc. You basically need to go everywhere and anywhere that potential candidates might be hanging out to get them interested. You also need to message every person you know and provide an incentive for them to send the applicants. So honestly, the best incentive is always cash. So for example, if I'm making a sales rep hire, like I'm always going to pay dollars out to the person who referred us a candidate. So like for the creative director role, I paid out $5,000 to the person who referred this role. And that's very normal, by the way. Like it's normal to pay for hires, because if you were paying a recruiter, like you can also use recruiters, as I said here, but like, look, some recruiters are really good, some are really bad. So you can just decide if you want to use them or not, but you're going to have to pay dollars out anyway. So like if I messaged like a friend in my network and was like, hey man, like I'm looking for this, do you know anyone? I'll pay you like $1,000 if you send me someone that I hire, then they're more likely to actually do it. You have to give an incentive. No one will do anything out of your own interests, trust me. So here's the structure for the message or post. Like you can send this to people like, hey, I'm hiring for this. They need to have this, this, and this. Like this could be this level of experience, this trait, and this. Compensation ranges according to the experience and skill level. Do you happen to know anyone who might suit? We're paying out this amount of money to the person. And you can just send this to as many people as you want in the space. So message everyone you know in your space, and I mean everyone. Post everywhere you can in your space, I mean everywhere. And just increase your funnel surface area as much as possible. The goal here is literally to get hundreds of applications, as many as you can. Quick note, if any of you try and do this inside of the academy, then you'll be permanently banned from the community because we do not allow for hiring posts, because if we did, then the entire community would just become a job board, which isn't fun for anyone. So step 8 is interviewing. So I want to give you some best practices for interviewing candidates, and then also over 50 interview questions that you can ask and decide to use, like real interview questions that I've actually asked in the past. So best practices: have your candidate spreadsheet open for each interview and make sure that you change the questions to suit the ones you pick below. So you can do this in a second. Think of the qualities you're looking for. This shouldn't say VA. Don't know why that says VA. Okay. Think of the qualities you're looking for and make sure that you have opportunities to explore these qualities during the interview. So like if you want punctuality, see if they show up on time. Don't make it too easy for them. Don't be nice to them. Uncover their weaknesses and ask hard questions instead of indirectly asking, I should say. So ask hard questions. Ask complicated questions. Don't be afraid to put them on the spot and put them under pressure. Don't be nice. You're a boss. Pay attention to how they answer questions more than what they actually say. Listen to the sounds they make, especially when you ask them a question they haven't prepared for, like sighs, grumbles, etc. Be sure you are getting straight answers. If you ask them for an example and they give you a general answer, dig back in and demand an example. Like, if you ask straightforward questions, you should expect straightforward answers. And if people just beat around the bush and just like, and just call them out on it. Follow up with responses like, it sounds like you hesitated there. What would that be about? This might feel uncomfortable, but it'll uncover the answer for you. To find out what their weaknesses are, do not ask for what their weaknesses are. Instead, ask about what they dislike. Ask about parts of the job they don't look forward to or wish someone else would do for them. Don't just be like, what are your strengths? It's like, no, say like, what are you really good at? What do you think you're better at than anybody else? Like, you want to make it tangible. Ask about favorites and least favorites. So what's the best boss you've ever had? What made them so great? Tell me about a boss you didn't like so much. Tell me about your favorite part of the job and the least favorite part of the job. This will help you gauge if they're a potential fit for you. And keep a casual tone to the conversation because this will help them open up and be themselves. So don't come on all fucking rigid and egotistical. Just be calm, be casual, be chill. Kind of like how I'm recording this video for you now. I'm just like relaxed. I'm not like, okay guys, keep a casual like just chill. Like how you enter that interview, like you got to realize like the people you're interviewing are going to be very nervous and they're going to be very on edge and they're going to be quite afraid. And so first of all, you have to factor that in to the process. Now, if you're hiring for like a sales role, then that won't fly because we can't have nervous people on sales calls. But like, you know, when I was doing my creative director hiring, for example, like I'm talking to dudes that are just like, they're nervous. It's like, it's fine. It's like you're being judged, you're under pressure, you're being scrutinized. And so you have to bear that in mind with their answers. You have to give them time. You have to be friendly. You have to let them open. But you also have to balance that with being very direct and very straightforward without being a dick. So keep these in mind as you're interviewing candidates. Here's 50 example questions that I've used before, specifically for sales rep hiring, virtual assistant hiring, or creative director hiring, to show you 3 different levels of skill. So VA is a very low skill level. So you can see the questions here, and you can use any inspiration from these questions that you want. Here's some questions to ask sales reps specifically. And by the way, this incentive structure isn't actually mine, or it's not what I recommend. It's just a way of doing it. It's just showing you how you could do it. And then this is the creative director questions. And specifically the ones in yellow are critical questions that we wanted to ask everyone. Sometimes we didn't get to asking all the questions, but the yellow ones had to be asked. Does that make sense? So by the way, again, the creative director hire is advanced and you shouldn't have to hire sales reps for a long time because you need to do the sales calls yourself for a long time. I just wanted to give you an example of like a builder role. And so like the real action item for step 8 specifically is to write out a list of questions that you want to ask candidates. And again, like you can take, it doesn't matter if you're just hiring a sales rep or a VA or a creative director, like, you're not going to be making these hires for a while, but when you do come to make them, you can use these questions as sort of inspiration. And generally speaking, like you want the interviews to go for about 30 to 45 minutes max. So you don't want to ask them like 100 questions because it's just stupid. But you can kind of see like for the creative director role, I was like, oh, I want to ask these questions, but then you can let the interview kind of flow. But the main thing is that you ask the critical questions that really matter. That makes sense. Okay. So focus on the non-negotiables and focus on getting tangible examples to back things up. So for example, we're looking for someone who has a trait of being X at work. Can you give me a recent example where you displayed this trait? Like good entrepreneurs who make good hires find good examples. Because anyone can say, yes, I'm hardworking, but it's like, hey, can you show me a time that you've been more hardworking than 99% of people in your field? So, oh yeah, well, I once spent an entire year of my life creating a program that is 100 times better than everybody else, and I made it free. So, oh, okay, well, there's an example. So be sure to give candidates the chance to ask questions at the end of the interview call, because the questions they ask will give you a window into how prepared they were for the call and also how intelligent and interested they actually are. So at the end of the call, be like, hey, so what questions have you got for me? And they should have a few. More candidates, more contrast. So most entrepreneurs make the crucial mistake of hiring too fast. Now, I know that interviews suck and candidates can be hard to get, but you need to interview as many people as possible. For example, for the creative director role, I interviewed over 60 people. When we come to hire a sales rep, I'll always interview more than 25 people. This is because you don't know what good looks like. The only way to know if a candidate is good or not is based on other candidates. The only frame of reference you have to make a solid hire is from other people. Don't make the hire on interview 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, etc. Set a deadline for a week or two from the first interview and interview as many people as you possibly can so that your frame of reference and point of contrast is solid. Do not make an emotional hire. Do not talk to like 3 people and be like, oh my God, that third person was amazing. For example, I once interviewed a sales rep who I thought was a killer. I'd done 10 interviews and this person was by far the best. But then I realized, sorry, I forgot to put this in. Then I realized person 11 was the real killer. So this is contrast. The lesson here is there's really 5 types of hires that you can make. We have bad, average, good, great, and GOAT. So you've got D players, C players, B players, A players, and A star players. Okay? So 1C, so a C player can look like an A player or even an A star player if you've only spoken to low-level Ds. So let's say you've done 20 interviews and all 20 of them have been shite. D players, bad hires. And then 21 comes along, and let's say that person is just objectively average. But because they're better than all the other person you spoke to, you think they're way better than they actually are. And so your frame of reference and contrast is crucial. So you want to interview as many people as possible to avoid making this mistake. So you won't know what an A player looks like yet. You won't know what an A star player looks like yet. You need to interview lots of people and you pick the best person from that candidate pool. And the more people you have, the higher chance you have of actually finding someone that's an A player. The chance of you finding an A star player is incredibly slim. These people, like, they work for the big fucking massive companies and they're getting paid like, you know, $500,000 a year to do certain roles, right? So you're probably not going to find that. And sometimes you won't even get A's. But B's we can accept at the beginning, but really you want to be very, very ruthless with who you hire. And generally speaking, like, it comes down to the quality of the founder. I will never make a hire that isn't an A or an A star. And I know what an A or an A star looks like now, so I will never hire anyone that isn't one of these things. I don't care how sentimentally attached I am to someone or how much I like them on the interview. If they're not an A or an A star, I won't hire them. And I know what they look like. Not physically, but in terms of their qualities. So step 10 is just making the hire, and this is onboarding them. So there's a few steps here. So once you've interviewed a ton of people, it's time to make a decision to hire. If you're split between 2 candidates or a couple of candidates, rewatch interview recordings and go with your gut says. If you're super split and you really just can't decide between 2 or 3 people, pick one person, i.e. the person you think is the strongest, and tell the other person that you are deferring the hiring decision by 30 days due to unforeseen circumstances. This way, if it doesn't work out with the person you did hire, you have a solid backup to connect with in the first month if it goes south. A little selfish, but whatever, game's the game. Make sure that you tell people who weren't successful that they weren't successful, because that matters to people and it's important that you do that out of just good moral code. But if you're split between 2 people, hire one and then tell the other one, hey, I'll let you know in a month. And then just say, like, we're gonna make the hire in a month. And then that way, like, if the first person doesn't work out, you've got a second backup that you can go to without the relationship having been ruined by you rejecting them. So number 1, get a photo ID of the hire. So remember, like, we're working remotely, so we need to verify this person is real and we need to verify that they are who they say they are. So every single person that I hire, even though I never meet any of them because I'm working remotely, I get a driving license or a passport from them. Make a video walking them through your company and everything they need to know about you, the business, the clients, and their role. So just a video on the company. Make any relevant training videos and standard operating procedures. By the way, if you don't know what a SOP is, a standard operating procedure, I'm going to make a video on this and it's going to come up next in the academy. So you can watch that next on how to make SOPs and how to sort of create workflows for people to follow. Create a training plan for the new hire and then have the new hire sign the following documents. So what I've actually done is I've taken the liberty of drafting up some agreement templates for you. So non-disclosure agreement and contractor agreement template. These are the two things you're going to need people to sign. An NDA, non-disclosure agreement, or confidentiality agreement is just basically like a bunch of legal jargon just saying that they can't go and like badmouth you behind your back, you know, and just like, yeah, kind of just chat shit about you. Or like, let's say that you're teaching them some trade secrets. They can't just go and like share them with everyone. Do you know what I mean? And like leave and do that. Contractor template agreement basically is everything to do with like what they're going to be doing, the compensation, and then just some other legal jargon as well that will gently protect you. Now, it's important to note that these are templates. I can't even tell you that I use these. Okay, this is not legal advice, and you should always seek the advice of a lawyer before using any legal document templates from this program. These documents are not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, and I recommend you consult a qualified lawyer before using any legal documents or templated legal documents found in this program. So that's just a little disclaimer, okay? Really crucial. These are just templates, okay? I'm not going to tell you that I use them. I'm not going to tell you that you should use them. I'm just telling you that they are there for you to take inspiration from if you so wish, okay? And now that rather obvious disclaimer is out of the way, that's everything for hiring top 1% talent. It's really not that tricky. It really is just as simple as knowing when to do it and knowing what problem you're actually trying to solve. And before you do it, trying to eliminate the thing. And if you can't eliminate it, trying to automate it. And then it's just writing a very basic, straightforward, well, it's not quite basic, it's quite a detailed job description and making a video, making a form for people to fill out with some questions on it, and then building a little funnel to embed the form and the video all together so it's nice and seamless, and then creating an interview event, getting people to the funnel to actually apply, then interviewing the people who you think are a fit, talking to as many of them as possible, and then just deciding on one person, and then just onboarding them. And that's really it. So that's everything for hiring top 1% talent. As I said at the start of the video, like EasyGrow contains specific hiring instructions for specific roles, and all this stuff's kind of built out for you. But you might not need that right now, but if you do, you can apply in the link below. Take care.